CodeRed selected.
What's good, guys? It's your boy CodeRed, and I am back with another one. So listen, man. Riot 2XKO ain't laying folks off. They are laying folks off. This is never a good sign or good news. When people lose their jobs, nothing at all is good about this. But they letting people go, and it's quite interesting because I know you guys are wondering, like, dang, this game just came out. As you can see in the title, it's only been 3 weeks. Its release, and yeah, this stuff is kind of interesting. I'm gonna jump into the article, give you guys kind of the meat and potatoes. But Riot lays off 2XKO developers less than 3 weeks after release. Overall momentum has reached the level needed to support a team of this size. So here's the article, all right? So roughly 80 employees are being let go as Riot's long-awaited fighting game fails to catch fire. Just a few weeks after the official launch of its 2v2 fighting game 2XKO, Riot Games is reducing the size of its development team by nearly half and laying off employees. As we expanded from PC to console, we saw consistent trends in how players were engaging with 2XKO. This is from executive producer Tom Cannon. Let's see. The game has resonated with a passionate core audience, but overall momentum has reached the level needed to support a team of this size long term. With a smaller, focused team, we're going to dig in and make key improvements to the game, including some of the things we've already heard you asking for. We'll share some of our plans soon. Let's see here. Riot told PC Gamer that about 80 roles are being eliminated, a little less than half the total 2XKO dev team, but an actual total isn't known at this point, as developers impacted by the cuts will have the opportunity to apply for other jobs at the company. Riot also said its plans for 2XKO 2026 competitive series remain unchanged. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep reading a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it talks about some previous layoffs and various things like that. So I will though leave a link to this article in the description. So, but yeah, this is crazy. And I think the biggest thing that makes this so crazy to me is that the game like literally just had its launch. Usually things like this take some time. And I say that because like what you guys have to realize is that like with these companies and when they do these projects, they have a set goal in mind. Things that they are projected or like what they expect to happen or be a certain amount made, or where they just overall where they expect the project to be. So these type of things take time. But when we're doing it this early, this is kind of scary to think about, especially with them just flat out basically saying like, I mean, things ain't going the way it should be. And it sucks. Anytime someone loses their job, nothing is fun about this. Nothing is fun about this, and nothing is good. Now, I do like the fact that in the article, it features that they are offering employment within the company so people can apply elsewhere. But I'm not going to get into details of that because you know how those things go. We've been there, done that. But just sticking with what we have going on here, this is not good. This is not good. This game just came out, and for a game like this, I don't think people understand how big this is. This game, what has been like 2 years? I mean, not 2 years. Excuse me, 10 years in development. And I remember, like, I had forgot about the game for a while because I remember hearing about it years and years back, and then it suddenly just popped back up. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this thing. But this game has been in development for like 10 years. And with the hype behind it, with the where it comes from as far as like, you know, it comes from League of Legends franchise. It was so much behind this game to where when you hear this kind of news, it is very alarming. should not be taking place this early at this point in this game. I think it's kind of scary, and it honestly leads me to believe that I hate to say it, but at least right now this game is in trouble, and we need to worry. We really need to worry about it. When you think about these type of games, I'm pretty sure a lot of money goes into making this game, and so making these type of games, and so like they expect to get a lot back from them, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But I do think that when this type of stuff takes place, layoffs happen, they basically are saying like, okay, we're not making the money that we thought we was going to make, or we're not getting the support from whether it be the gaming community, the FGC, like we thought we were. And ultimately that support does lead to some type of financial gain. But this game has had a lot of problems though. And I think that that is one of the discussions that should be held when it comes to this game. One of the bigger issues with the game that people talk about was obviously the roster, right? Roster was very small, and that was concerning for a lot of people early on, including me. I think that with a tag-based game, you have to have a larger roster, just for like teams, and I just think overall experience is better when you have a fairly decent sized roster where you can mix and match characters and do different pairings and things like that. It makes, to me, exploration better. And that was an issue early on, so much that it leads to the other thing with the roster being small. You started to fall into a balancing issue where that it was hard to like balance the game from like the characters within the game. They've tried, of course, they went and they fixed things here and there, but ultimately a lot of stuff still remain the same. Echo is still a dominant force, and this right here, well, not as ridiculous, but they're still really good, to the point to where, like, you look at a lot of the teams that are being made up, at least on the high level, they're featuring one of these characters. Definitely featuring Echo. I feel like Echo is like in almost every pairing, and it shows, right? And then that's what comes when you have a problem with when you have a problem with the roster, when it's only 10 characters. I think it's 10. Yes, 10 characters. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many pairings you can have, and that ultimately also affects the balance, because when you have a larger roster and you have more characters, there's countering that takes place, right? With the roster being as small as it is, there's only one way you can go, and that's Echo. It sounds funny, but it's the truth. And I think that was one of the issues early on, and people complained about it. The roster was just too small. I was one of those people. You also have to look at, feel like promotion wise, they were very slow. Promotion, marketing was just feet dragging. Like it was stretches of time that you just wouldn't hear anything from this game. And I felt like with as big as it was, and like a lot of the early momentum that the game was getting, it's like you got to kind of keep that. And I think that was one of the more damaging things, was that I just felt like the marketing, like just promotion and how they went out promoting this game was just not done well. It wasn't done well, to the point to where I will say, my honest opinion, and this is just a theory, I don't necessarily think the game was finished. I don't think that they were ready to put the game out with how it is now. No, I don't. I think that there was a point in time where things, and this is just my theory, but I think that with the tournament season coming up and the opportunity to capitalize from a business standpoint started to arise, and it's like, okay, we got to put something out. You know what I mean? We got to put it out. We have to put it out, even if it's not fully ready. And I think that's what occurred. I think that there was a lot of feet dragging, and it was like, oh crap, like we got to do something. And the game, we put it out. Like they put it out, and I think that it shows. It definitely shows. Keeping on that lines, the stretch of time between release like PC and console. Of course, the game came out and it was available first on PC for a long stretch of time, and then ultimately you got the console release. That was interesting. That was interesting. And a lot of it was, they said, you know, that this was going to be, which leads me to believe, like I said, it was a test to see where they are. Like they wanted to put a product out, but they also still were tweaking things as they go. Which not bad, not good, but it's just something to really think about. And then now you get the console launch so much later, that it kind of again goes towards the momentum. It affects the momentum of the game, because only so many people can be able to play the game at this point, with it only being on PC. And then you open up the doors to console, is okay. Like, well, now those people that have consoles are finally being introduced to a game that's been out for so long. It affects the momentum, and I think that had an impact, definitely impact on it. Then you go into the actual release, the console release, and it was rough. It was rough. Like, I cannot lie to you, it was rough. I was one of the people that was very excited about console release, just because it gave me the opportunity to play with a lot of my friends who are strictly on console. Of course, I had PC, so I was able to play a little earlier, but it was just I was thinking from how much the pool would grow. And so when it was finally stated that it was coming out for console, I was very excited. And I got to tell you, that first day, me and my friend, we fired it up, and it was rough. It was very rough. To the point to where it kind of messed with my feelings towards the game. I mean, you talk about screen tearing, you know, and when I first saw that, I really thought it was something going on my end, and kept getting, you know, flashes of that. And I literally thought it was something wrong with something on my end. And when I started to hop on different forums and started to see different people talking about it, it was like, oh no, this is a real thing. And I just kind of found that, like, it's kind of crazy to think that things like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, when a game has been this long in development and like these different things are going into the game, it's like, to release something like that is kind of interesting. It's like, who cares? Whatever. Let's just put it out. Like, that's the feeling that it gave. You talk about, I know I saw like input lag was an issue. There was connection issues online. Like, overall, just the experience for the console user was rough. It was a rough launch, and that's again leading up. This was after a stretch of time where it was not available, and you announced this for console release. You make this a big thing. It was almost like a celebration of sorts, right? And then once that was the product that was produced or came out, it was like all of this to promote. Like, you promoted this, you know, it messed up a lot. And I think, again, it contributed to momentum dying within the game. The game is fun, absolutely fun. I enjoy playing it, but these type of things mess with the experience. It does, to where it makes a fun game you can't enjoy what makes the game good because of these type of issues, right? I would say the other thing, and one of the big things too, is, I'm gonna lie to you, the game is expensive. Like, a lot of the stuff within the game that you are able to purchase is a little bit rough. And I'm shocked that I haven't seen more people talk about it. Of course, it's starting to catch on a lot more now, but early on, I expected people to have concerns about the pricing of a lot of this stuff within game, and not very many people talked about it as much as I thought they would. It's happening now, but I mean, the stuff is just expensive. It really is. And I think that for this game, from that standpoint, I think they're trying to take the approach that they normally have when it comes to the in-game purchases as they do with League of Legends, like with their particular games. And this is one of the things that I said in older videos, is that they have to have a balance in how they choose to approach these things, because you're not only catering to a community of your own, which is, you know, the League of Legends community or whatever, but you're also catering to the fighting game community. And when it comes to the fighting game community, those kind of transactions, they're gonna stand out. And I just think overall, a lot of this stuff it was really expensive. And just the breakdown of the packages was much like, and I know this is a free-to-play game, right? But it's still, the pricing of some of this stuff was still like, it just doesn't make up for the fact that the game is free to play. Like, it doesn't. I don't know. It was rough, and I think that is another thing, another contributing factor to the issues. But I think when you put that all together, you look at all these things, all of these concerns for people, all of my concerns, you do get this. You do get the unfortunate layoffs. And this is tough. When you think about, this game hasn't even been out for a month, and already this has happened. It scares you for what the future may bring for this game. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it is a fun game, but I think that there was just a lot of errors along the way. Do I think that it can be fixed? Yeah, but I do think that it's going to take a lot of effort. And I don't want to get into too much of the details of how these things work when it comes to from behind the scenes with employment and, you know, people's roles in companies and things like that. But I can tell you this, it's not going to be fun, especially for the people that are remaining. Let's just say this is not fun. But I don't know. I think this game was rushed, and I think it was well, let's say this. I think the game was rushed, but also it took too long. I think that it took a long time to come out. They dragged their feet a long time, and then I think that once things started to register, and once things started to be looked at as far as, like, you know, tournament season, the opportunities they had to, like, capitalize on, and it was like, okay, let's just get it out there. And I think that kind of shot them in the foot. I think they just shot themselves in the foot with that. So, but we'll see. As I said, I mean, it's a fun game. I enjoy it. You know, not necessarily a game that, you know, I plan to just play deeply or a lot of, but it is a fun game. It is a good game. And I hope that it gets together. I don't want to see no fighting game fail. I'm not one of those people that get excited or, you know, salivate at the sight of a game, especially a fighting game, falling apart. It's not, because it in the end, it affects the community. The more fighting games, the better. But I do think that they got some stuff they got to work on over there, and hopefully they get it together, because right now this is not looking good. This is not looking good. It's not even a month in, and we got this. This is not looking good. So, but let me know how you guys feel. I would love to hear from y'all. I would love to hear your experience with the game, just your views and opinion when it comes to the game in general and the state that it's in right now. Yeah, get in that comment section. Let me know how you guys feel. As always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. CodeRed, and I'm out.
CodeRed selected.